So we'll be starting today the session on strategic financial management. Before we move into the subject introduction and the first chapter today, namely international financial management, we'll first have some introductory discussion regarding how we'll be running this particular batch. Obviously the starting time we know, all of you will be having the question, then we will be completing the batch, the schedule, the source for preparation. Briefly we will be having the discussion about these issues before we have the introduction to the subject first and then introduction to the chapter International Financial Management. Regarding the source for which you can just go for the source for preparation. Mainly our workbook covers most of the concepts. Okay, most concepts or all varieties are almost covered in our workbook regarding the preparation. If you are thorough with the workbook along with the notes which I will be giving you in the classrooms, that will be the primary source for your preparation. You can say around 70 to 80% of the marks can be scored by conceptually understanding and doing our workbook itself. This you can keep it as a primary source because from this only we learn the subject. That is, the subject will be shared with you with the help of the problems from the workbook. So that is more than sufficient for a decent preparation for examination. In the workbook itself, in every chapter end, I have given something called as practice problems. The practice problems have been given along with the solutions also. Those are nothing but past RTP questions only is included in the practice problem segments. But the latest two RTPs has not been included. I will be providing you the latest two RTP questions and solutions also by the time you complete the batch. So RTP you need not do it except for the RTP to be issued now. Apart from that, everything I will be giving you the solved answers categorized into different chapters. Number 2, apart from the workbook, you can also do the practice manual problems also. Those are all past examination questions which is there in practice manual grouped in chapter wise. So please also do the practice manual as and when the chapter gets completed. These two we can have as a primary source for preparation. But that alone may not be sufficient if you want to have a good knowledge about the subject or grip over the subjects. So here I don't call the strategic financial management as a subject, it is a course. So in MBA Finance, they study this for 2 years and this is not a subject, it is a course in which each and every chapter which we are discussing are subjects in itself. So that is why I said, if you want to have a much more good knowledge about the subject, either for the future, say practice or employment, etc., or even interest in learning the subject, we can have some additional reference books also. I'll just mention them, I'll dictate the reference book at the end of the today's class. For example, this subject will be mainly dealing with markets. Markets means we can say there are 4 types of markets that exist. One is the equity markets, that is the share market you can say. Next is the fixed income security market, that is bonds, treasury bills, government securities, etc. which are traded, that is second market. Third is the derivatives market, where we have futures, options, swaps, etc. And the fourth market is the currency market, where foreign currencies are bought and sold. These are the 4 main markets that exist in any economy. About the 4 markets only will be predominantly discussing in our syllabus in final level, namely strategic financial management. Just for the understanding, what are the 4 markets we just mentioned now? Equity markets, debt markets or fixed income securities, third is currency markets, derivatives market. These are the 4 main markets. Concept about these 4 markets, information about them only will be discussed mainly at the final level. For these 4, we have some very good books, specialized books. For example, derivatives market, if you want to understand that, there's a book called as Hull. John C. Hull is the book that is for derivatives. Similarly, equity market, a person called as Ashwath Damodaran, he has written a very good book on valuation, in which mainly it will be focusing on the equity valuation aspect. Similarly, currency market, international finance, we have an author called as P.G. Apte. That's a very, very good book on the currency market. Similarly, we have the fixed income securities, where Febosi is a classic author regarding the fixed income securities. All these books are specialized in their respective areas, namely currency market or fixed income securities, equity market or the derivative segment. So derivatives invoke for Hull, currency market P.G. Apte, valuation or equity market Ashwath Damodaran, and the fourth market I think is bond market. You can just go for the Febosi. Okay, these books are very standard books, classics in their own area. This is regarding the specific areas which I have just recommended. Overall, if you want to have one book for the entire subject covered in a very lucid way, two books are very good in this particular regard. One book is Brearley Mayers, a book called as Brearley Mayers. Corporate Finance is the book name. That's a very good book. And another book very popularly sold throughout the world, the bestseller is called as Investments. A book name is Investments, written by Bodie Keane Marcus. Okay, these two books can be a one place where all the issues can be dealt. But if you want to know deeply each and every issue, then we'll be having these separate books that are available in this particular area. This is regarding the source for preparation. All the books which I mentioned are reference books only. And when you have doubt, if you have those books, you will be getting more clarity, more knowledge about what is being discussed. But for the examination preparation, our study material plus the practice manual, problems and solution will be more than sufficient for the preparation for examination. But if you want one more book to solve for examination purpose, that is, I don't want reference book and all, name, I don't like outsiders, I want only Swadeshi books. Swadeshi also, P.G. Apte and Ashwath Damodaran are Indians only. But still, if you want to have a book, like a handbook for doing the problems and solution, two books are really good for that purpose. One is A.N. Sridharan, is a book that is the Strategic Finance Management, A.N. Sridharan for CA Final, it is given. Another is Pattabhiraman sir book, Strategic Finance Management, that is also for CA Final. Particularly for our curriculum, these two books are available. Anyone, whichever you feel comfortable, you can just buy and do it. Again, I say primary source, you can follow the classroom problems and solutions with the RTPs as well as the practice manual. Reference book, I have given you a lot of reference books to read. Apart from that, for CA final preparation, specifically if you want to have a author or book, you can just go for A.N. Sridharan, Strategic Finance Management, book name, or Pattabhiraman sir book. It is also what? Strategic Finance Management. Any one of these two, you can just have it for the examination preparation purpose. Don't buy any book immediately. Just let us learn one or two chapters. Then you can read books and then see which is comfortable for you to read and understand. And then you can just start buying the books. Okay. There is nothing wrong if you buy more than one book. We invest in unnecessary things unnecessarily. Yes or no? And these books are worth investment only. Someday, sometime it will be very, very helpful for you. Don't be stingy in investing in the books because knowledge is power. Right or not? So, if you feel that both are good in some ways, then don't do so many calculations. Which should be bought. Both can be what? Purchased. Always books are for reference. Suppose one concept is a debt securitization. You are not able to understand it properly. In that case, one book may not be throwing you so much about that concept. Another book may be giving you in the way you like it. In that case, we have more than one source to prepare. That will be much more better because what you don't get clarity in one place, the same clarity can be obtained in the other place. So this is regarding the source of preparation. Now let us move into the subject strategic financial management. See, let us first understand the primacy of this subject. Primacy means the importance of this particular subject in the curriculum itself and also for your future employability, consulting or other areas. This is a subject that is inevitable. Some subjects are inevitable. One of the most inevitable subject, that means you cannot escape from this subject. So I don't get this subject very much, I don't have a grip. Let me escape somehow by getting 40 marks in the examination and look the life forward. It is not possible. This subject is now becoming very inevitable in whatever field you choose to enter into. I'll tell you the reason mainly. First of all, if you take the areas which chartered accountant specializes, we can mark two areas very importantly. One is reporting and another is taxation. Or put it simply, accounts and then tax. These two are the niche areas we can say for a chartered accountant. When I say accounts or reporting, the traditional form of reporting is slowly fading away. The balance sheets are now becoming moreover the value-based balance sheets. Okay. Now that debit credit, we simply pass journal entries and show the numbers in the balance sheet. In balance sheet, lot of financial assets are now reported. For example, we have a swap. A swap may be a swap asset or a swap liability which may be reported. Debt securitization may take place. Recent amendment, income tax act also has brought out in the debt securitization. Debt securitization, when to recognize the debt, when securitization takes place. When not to recognize, that is an issue. In that interest stripping take place means how to value the interest stripping. Like that, there are so many issues. Options may be there. It is not a contingent asset. It should be reported as one asset in the balance sheet. In all this case, in the balance sheet, when you want to report all these technical items, one should know how to value them. Because your purchase price cannot be a value for them, because for most of them there may not be a purchase price. For example, option premium may be paid, but now the premium value may be what? Changing. So as a mark-to-market procedure also is going to exist. In that case, valuation has become a very, very important component in reporting itself. When you report an item, it should be reported with a value or not. That value is not always historical value, the amount you pay for it. Sometimes the value has to be what? Calculated. It should be ascertained. Whenever I speak about value, we come to the subject. Are you following that? Because our subject is always about what? Valuation. Finally, we speak about so many valuation, equity valuation, option valuation, futures valuation, bond valuation, like that. It is all about what? Valuation aspects. So whenever you want to report something, you require what? Value. When you want to report value, you should know how to value them. For that, you have to come back to this particular subject, the concepts discussed. I think you are following or not? So, in that case, this subject is inevitable for reporting because reporting requires value. Number 2, taxation. Taxation is based on the transactions, right or not? So, business is always complex, business is always growing. There are entities like private equity, there are entities like venture capital, the debt securitization, special purpose vehicle, like so many entities are there in the business, each having their unique way of doing the business. And now the tax laws are also getting modernized, where based on the case laws, they are doing what? Amendments. Past say 2 years, so many amendments, 126 amendments in the previous finance act, now 12 to 13 very important amendments regarding buyback, securitization, etc. So many amendments are coming just to keep the tax laws in tune with what? The business transactions. To know the amendments, you should understand the transaction or not. Where to understand transaction? Here only, because this subject only deals with the varieties of business transaction. So transaction is the mother, for which the two childs are the one, reporting the transaction and then what? The tax in the transaction. In that case, for these two areas also, we cannot escape from this particular subject. If you want to do the practice or concerning traditional way, it is not for say too long, where we will become what? Outdated. We should be very much apprised with what is happening in the business world, that is captured through this particular subject called as strategic financial management. So, from this, you should understand that are you reading this subject for the 100 marks examination clearance or for your profession? It should be for your profession itself. So, learn the chapters deeply, concept-wise. So, always don't ask the question where this will be applied practically. You first learn it, then normally, automatically you'll be knowing the practical applications of most of the concepts. And one more point I will tell, that is regarding the source. I said the books to read are not like that. You will also have your eyes and ears open to what is happening around you, mainly in the business community. So for that you should be reading some business newspapers and as well as watching some business news channels. So I don't say reading newspapers and the news channels. I say read some business newspapers and then business news channels, because if you want a specific say business line or a business standard economic times, not propagating or doing any marketing for these papers, what came to my mind, I said like the news channels, NDTV Profit, Bloomberg TV, like we have some news channels or not. We keep on watching them. Earlier you may not be able to follow them, but if you are going to put your mind into it, slowly you will be getting a grip over what is happening around you. The subjects also will be made much more easier when you look at, say when you have a broad understanding of what is happening around us. That is only one more suggestion I just give you, because it should be done on a regular basis. Not that one day you take a newspaper, read from top to bottom, and the next 1 month you don't read it. That is worse than reading daily some spot, say for a regular basis. So we can have this as one of the agenda. It won't take lot of time. Instead of watching serials or say watching Times Now, Arnab Goswami or what anything, those are also okay, good only, but still these things will be more directly contributing to your profession or also to your skill set when you just go for the employment. So let us come back to the subject. We have discussed about the primacy of this particular subject. This subject is important or not? Why? It is a mother of what? All the subjects. Because it helps you to value things, it helps you to understand the transactions. Hence the subject is very, very important, not only for the examination, also for what? The profession to follow. Okay, now let us see what is the objective of the subject strategic financial management. Any subject should be contributing to the welfare of the society or upliftment of the humanity. Yes or no? Every subject should contribute towards the welfare of the society or upliftment of the humanity. Okay. If it is not so, it will not be called as subject, maybe called as what? Entertainment or sports. When you want to bring something as a serious subject, you should be contributing towards the welfare of the society or upliftment of the humanity. Okay. One such subject is economics. The Nobel Prize is given for only few subjects, namely physics, chemistry, mathematics and then medicine. Originally these four subjects only were given what? Nobel. The committee was constituted only to award excellence in these four subjects because people thought that these four only really contributes for changing the way people live. That is, it should change the way we live. That change can happen only through these four subjects is the original belief. Then later two more categories were added. One is for peace. One is for what? Peace. Another is for economics. Okay, because they felt that economics is not just relating to money. It changes the way people live. So Nobel was given to economics also. And this subject, financial management, comes as a branch of economics. Okay. Now, we have seen different countries classified in different ways. We say some countries are developed, some countries are developing, some countries are underdeveloped. Okay. Now, for example, tell me one example of developed country. Everybody says the same name. So, is what? US. Okay. From long ago till now, it is what? The developed nation. You say US is developed country. Okay. Tell me the name of a developing country. Yeah. Okay. Now, so positive, yeah, because we don't have a negative thought. We always what? Developing. Scope for improvement is there. So India is called as what? Developing country. Okay. The question is, how we just classify a country as developed or developing? Okay. Then it is a subjective assessment or is it objective? Really, there are objective ways of identifying whether a country is developed or developing. Two parameters are mainly used. One is the economic size. Second is a military power. So one is economic size, second is what? Military power. So I don't here come to speak here about military. You can see me and you can understand that. They here to speak about what? Economic size. Okay. Economic size is one of the important criteria for understanding whether a country is developed or developing. For example, you can say in year 2012, US economic size is around 16,000 odd billion dollars. The economy is what? 16,000 odd billion dollars. India's economic size is around 4,700 plus billion dollars. Is what was the economic size of the two countries in the just concluded year, that is 2012 ending. This is the economic size of the country. We can say US is thrice as big or four times as big as what? India's economy. We can say or not, because its economic size is 16,000 odd billion dollars and India is only 4,700 plus billion dollars. So we can see the size of the US economy and size of the Indian economy. And next to us comes Japan, which is 4,500 billion dollars. Okay, India 4,700, Japan is what? 4,500 billion dollars. In that case, you cannot judge the economic size by size of the country. A small country, Japan, is having a size of what? 4,500 plus, and the country very big as ours is having how much? 4,700 plus. So, economic size does not depend upon what? The country size. Does not depend on what? The size of the country. Even small countries have what? Big economies, and big countries may be having what? Moderate economies and so on. So, economic size is something that's different than what? The size of the country. Right or not? Now question is, sir, what is a 16,000 billion dollars? What is this 4,700 billion dollars? The question arises or not? Yes, when I say economic size, the question arises, what is it? How this number has been what? Arrived at? Is an important question, right? Yes, how this number have been arrived at? Number one, it's very simple calculation. In a given year, what are all the goods and services which are produced and rendered in a country, if you multiply by the value, I'll be getting economic size. Either we call popularly as GDP. We call as what? GDP, gross domestic product. So I don't want to go into variance and all. Simply, what is gross domestic product here? Product means production. Product means what? Production. So in the country, we take all the goods produced during this year. We take what? All the services rendered during this year, we multiply by the what? Value, and that is going to be the value of goods and services rendered in the current year. Are you following what I am saying? This equals what? GDP. If the value is big, the economy is performing what? Greatly. Are you following or not? For example, say in this year 2013, now a service has started. What service? CA final, SFM batch. Now, don't laugh here. I'm giving an example. Now, CA final MTH Care, a limited company, has started in Chennai. A batch commencing on what? 23rd November. CF and SFM batch, where around 750 to 800 students services are being rendered. Right or not? So, what the government does is, the 750 students, 800 students, into a fees. I don't want to go into that. I don't know also. Okay. Into the fees gives you the value of the services. Are you following what I am saying? Like today, some other company on the same day will be producing cars. So no, the number of cars produced into what? Their value. Are you following? Some other company may be giving the IT services, IT enabled services. Some will be doing what? Agriculture. Like that. Daily activities are going on. Those activities produces goods and renders what? Services. If you multiply them with what? The value will be getting what? The GDP. Don't ask how the government knows, because they pay service tax. From that they'll be knowing how much is service rendered by this particular company. Black money apart, I'm saying, okay. So then the GDP they say is much more higher than what it really is. I'm saying legally reported means we'll be knowing the value of goods and services rendered. Can I question or not? No. More value of goods and services produced and given, what happens? Better is the economy. One of the factor I'm saying is called as what? GDP. Can I question or not? No. Next stage. What is contributing to GDP? Question is no. Is GDP is the goods and services provided out of thin air? It requires some assets. Yes or no? Yes, to have a GDP, it requires what? Some assets, which I call as productive capacity. Call as what? Productive capacity. It will be having some assets for the GDP to be what? Generated. Very simple. This badge can be handled only when I have a mic. This badge cannot be handled with a blackboard only when I have a technology, right or not? This badge can be handled only when I am there, right or not? This badge can be handled only when there is a room of this size, right or not? That is, to handle this badge, so many aids are required, right or not? It requires a human resource, it requires a technology, it requires what? The land, it requires a building, like that. So many resources are what? Required to generate the GDP, right or not? So these resources only we call as productive capacity of a country. Okay. Some countries may be blessed with lot of natural resources, like Gulf, they have what? Oil. Okay. Some countries maybe you can say given what a very good human resource, like what? Japan having what? A very skilled set of labor force. Like some countries having what? Good technology, like US and so on. So India is having what? Mix of what? All these things. To some extent underutilized the ability, right or not? But still, that is why it is sustaining a fourth largest economy. Are you following not? In that case, every country will be having a capacity which we call as what? Productive capacity, and this productive capacity only will be contributing to what? The GDP, and the assets that is there in the productive capacity I call as real assets. What assets? Real assets. Okay. Now, so don't think telling some story and all. I'm just moving towards what? The subject context. Okay. Number one, every subject should contribute to welfare of the society. Yeah, society will be called as developed. Looking at its economic size. Size of an economy is measured by its GDP. GDP is nothing but the value of all the goods and services produced into all the goods and services into their value. To render services or to produce goods, they require the production capacity or productive capacity, which can be in form of human resource, natural resource, technology, know-how, etc., etc. And these assets we call as what asset? Real assets. Everybody following or not? No. But whenever you speak about how economy is performing, immediately look at the share market. Is the Sensex going up or coming down? So it has risen by what? 500 points. You tell or not? You look at the dollar rupee value, right or not? You see how they are rating our bonds. Is Indian bonds, junk bond or A++ plus or the interest rate of our bond, right or not? So when I speak about the health of an economy, immediately we look at some indicators or not? Shares, bonds, etc. What are these? Next question arises now. How it is related to what? Real assets, and what are these issues is the next issue you are going to move. Can I go say it now? It is nothing great like real assets. There exists another category of assets. It is called as financial assets. What assets? Financial assets. So now we should know that two categories of assets. One is what? Real asset. Another is what? Financial assets. Examples of financial assets are shares, right? Equity shares, preference shares, debentures, bonds, even derivative instruments like options, swaps, futures. All these assets, I call as what asset? Financial asset. Okay. Now, the beauty of the financial asset is that if I add the balance sheet of everyone in the country, the financial becomes zero. Because if you take my balance sheet, suppose, in an example, don't take really, suppose I invested in shares of Infosys. I'll show you my investment or not. And Infosys will show me in what? Liability side as a capital, right or not? I have borrowed money from, suppose, Indian Bank. Okay, I'll be showing it in what? Liability side. Indian Bank will show it as what? Loans in the asset side, right or not? In that case, if you sum up all the financial assets and liabilities of the country, they cancel out against each other and become zero. Are you following not? That means what really exists is only what? Real assets, and financial assets is always the person of what? A financial liability. Are you following not? Now the question is, so are they able to cancel out against each other? Then why the hell we discuss about them, right? No. So what really exists only what? Real assets. Those financial assets only what I say, myth only. They are there in asset side, they are in what? Liability side. They want to cancel out against what? Each other. What exists is ultimately only real assets. Then why should we speak about financial asset? Question arises no. The financial asset is serving two very, very important purposes. Two very, very important purposes. Number one, real assets generate income, right? I have a land. I have a land and building. There is a company is having a land and building. For the land and building, somebody has contributed money or not? For every asset should be liability or not? Asset is an investment, liability is what? Funding, right or not? Now, we have assets in the balance sheet, land and building, plant and machinery, so many investment, so many assets are there or not? For all these assets, there should be a funding, somebody should be giving money to buy the asset, right or not? Now, this money can be given by two sets of person. One is equity, another is what? Debt. Equity and debt. These two persons fund for the real asset, right or not? No. The real asset generates income. There generates what? Income. Always asset generates what? Income. This income belongs to equity or debt or both. It belongs to what? Both. Because both are given money for the asset, the money should be what? Shared by the board. In that case, on what basis the income should be shared is shown by the financial asset. Are you following what I am saying? For example, debt says, I want a fixed income. Equity says, I want what? Variable income. Debt, whether I have a profit or loss, he will be taking what? A guaranteed money. Equity will be getting either a bumper or what? Yeah, great loss. So one says, I want a variable income. Another says what? I want a fixed income. Because person having money will be having different taste for risk. One person may want more return and wants to take what? More risk. Another person also has money but wants what? Lesser return but wants to take it what? Safe. From both you should get money. You cannot say, I'll take money only from risk takers, then my money I cannot invest at all. Are you following what I am saying? We are going waste for the economy. In that case, based on the risk takes, I should share the income or not. For that, what is forming the basis here? Financial assets, shares, bonds, when I allot, that based on that asset, I'll be able to what? Bifurcate the income between the stakeholders. So one of the means use of a financial asset is, it is going to give you the basis for what? The sharing of the income. Everybody following on? No. Otherwise, with real assets, nobody will be able to share the income. On the basis on which income should be shared, that will be determined by the financial asset. Use number one. Everybody following on? No. Second use is, it gives you mobility for the funds. It gives you what? Mobility for the funds. Suppose there are no shares. This is only owner's entity. Okay. Suppose I am having a house. Okay. Now I want to sell my house. Then what happens here? I have to sell the entire house. I cannot sell only one room. Written out that is, I am having some money invested in the house here. Suppose something around 20 crores. For example, okay, 20 crores in what? Locked in the house. In which I feel that unnecessarily 20 crores money is what? Locked inside the house. I want to come out of it to the extent of what? 5 crores. 15 crores money I want to what? Lock it. In that case, I will not be having liquidity for the house. I don't know. But in case of a company, we have an asset, say land and building, plant and machinery, stock, data, so many assets are there or not? No. Yeah, company promoter is knowing 85% shareholding. So no. He says, I want to come out of the company a little bit. Okay, what he can say is, he can sell 20% of shareholding, reduce it to what? 65%, still retain the ownership partially. Right or not? It gives you liquidity for your what? Funds. And people also, suppose I don't like Infosys. Okay, I am not shareholder of Infosys. I don't like Infosys. I feel that TCS is what? Performing better. I cannot say, wind up Infosys. I want to put my money in what? TCS. Possible. If I am bound by the company for full shareholding, then the only option is what? Winding up. So all that are put in TCS. I do not. But now my money, if I want to go to TCS, I can simply what? Sell the share of Infosys and buy the share of what? TCS. The savings is channelized to a more quality purpose. Are you following what I am saying? For this, I require what? Financial assets, because it facilitates transfer of assets. Transfer of real assets is facilitated without any great fuss. Is another role of what? Financial asset. Everybody following or not? No. So, to summarize, the objective of the subject is to improve the well-being of the society, and developed nations are those having the economic size. Economic size is a value of goods and services rendered, which in turn depends on the productive capacity through assets called as what? Real assets. These real assets examples are natural resource, technology, human resource, etc. etc. Like real assets, there exists another category of assets called as financial assets. financial assets are going to cancel out against each other, because what is FA for one will become what? FI for another person. But why this asset exists is for two reasons. Number one, it helps you to share the income generated by the real asset. It also helps you to transfer the ownership of real assets partially without any great fuss. Is the use of the financial asset. Everybody, are you following or not? Now, see. So, financial assets and its uses we have discussed. Can I question or not? Now, third. What is the objective of this subject? Financial management or corporate finance? We study this subject with one main objective. Objective is to maximize the value of financial asset. What is the objective of the subject? To maximize the value of the financial asset. When I run a company, I should increase the value of my company shares. Is it not? Correct? I should run the company in such a way that increase the value of my what? Bondholders, like that. The objective of the subject is to increase the value of what? Financial assets by making proper decisions regarding real assets. Are you following what I am saying? The real asset should be properly used in such a way that the value of the financial asset what? Increases. If you are using real asset to make great profits, the FA value what? Increases. The real assets are underutilized or wrongly utilized, the financial value what? Decreases. So our subject objective is to increase the value of the financial asset by optimally using what? The real asset. It contributes to welfare of the society. So because our subject aims at making right investments, good type of financing, and then propelling the growth of a country. Everybody following on. So tell me what the objective of our subject? Increasing the value of the financial assets by making optimum use of the real assets and making prudent decisions. Everybody, are you following on? Now the question is, sir, objective is to increase the value of the financial assets. How to achieve that particular objective? Question arises, no. The objective can be achieved by making proper decisions, because most of the problems are solved if the decision made properly. Decision making is 80% success, implementation is valid 20% only. Right or not? Mostly I am saying. So if we make right decisions, then the assets will be having what? The value increase very quickly. So we are going to make decisions regarding real assets and others to increase the value of the financial assets. Now the question is, what are all the decisions we will be making? Everybody following or not? No. See, the decisions which are going to make will be classified into three types. Will we get how many times here? Three types. One is called as investment decision, second is called as financing decision, third is called as dividend decision. What are three types of decisions? Investment decision, financing decisions, and then dividend decisions. No need to note it down. I'll give you the notes. Okay, please just listen this more than enough. There are three types of decisions which we have to make. Why these decisions are made? Tell me the reason. To improve the value of the financial asset. Always, you should know the objective. The objective of all decisions should be what? To improve the value of the financial asset. Any decision which pulls down the value of my share should be made or should be rejected? Should be rejected. Any decision that increases the share value should be what? Made. Like that, any decision when I make, the first question I should ask is, due to this decision, will my value increase or decrease? Value of what? Value of financial assets increase or decrease is a primary concern for us in all the decision making process. Everybody following up? Now, what are the three decisions? Investment, financing, and then what? Dividend. First, take financing is getting money. Financing is what? Getting money. Investing is what? Putting money. So, financing is what? Getting money. Investing is what? Putting money. Liability is getting. Asset is what? Putting, it's not no. Liability is getting, other is what? Putting. I get money from shareholders, I get money from bondholders, I get money from debentures, I get money from what? Bonds, I invest in plant, I invest in machinery, and so on. Getting money is liability, and putting money is what? Asset. One is financing, other is what? Investment. Response is or no. After getting money and putting money, what happens here? I earn money. I get money, I put money, and then what? I earn money. What to do with the earned amount? Next question or not? Let's call us dividend decision. Everybody follow what I am saying? Three things only. Where to get money, where to put money, what to do with the money earned. Are you following what I am saying? These are the three decisions I should make to include the value of my financial asset. Are you following? Right or not? In the case, in all these decisions, There are two angles involved. One is a risk angle, another is a return angle. One is what? A risk angle, another is what? A return angle. Let's take some examples. Now, I have two choices before me. To build a car manufacturing plant with a capacity of 10,000 cars. How many cars here? 10,000 cars. To build a car manufacturing plant with a capacity of 500 cars. Which is better? Did you understand the question or not? Now, I have two investment proposals before me. One is to have a manufacturing cost with 10,000 car plant. Another is what? A plan with a 500 car plant. These are the two choices before me. Everybody following or to make it more understandable, MTH suppose has two choices. To build a room with a 8,000 student capacity. Understood? Example here, okay. 8,000 student capacity or have a room with 80 student capacity. Are you follow what I'm saying? Tell me, which is good? 8,000 capacity room or 80% capacity room? Both have their own advantage and disadvantage. When you have a big budget, the profit that could be earned also will be bigger. Yes or no? With the 8,000 student batch, one batch 8,000 students, it will be what a bumper profit which cannot be expected the profit with the 80 students. Are you follow what I am saying? But on the other hand, I build an 8,000 student room, only 8 students regularly come here. What happens here? I will be suffering what? Huge losses. Am I right or not? So, that 8,000 student capacity room may be having a great return. It is also accompanied by what? A higher risk that is taken. Response, yes or no? Opposite, 80 student room will be having what? Lesser return. At the same time, risk is also what? Not so great. So in my decision, I have looked at two angles. One is what? A return. Another is what? A risk. Same thing can be said for financing also. Now, I want 100 crore rupees for my business. I have two options. 100 crores, I will put 10 crores and 90 crore can be what? Borrowed money. Right or not? Highly levered company. Highly what? Levered company. 10 crores own money, 90 crores what? Borrowed money. Is it good or bad? It is good because it helps me to increase my return because 100 crore business I am earning 1,000 crores profit and pay constant interest and count the remaining profits for the 10 crore investment. Return or not, it is having a potential to give me what? Great return. At the same time, as you said, it is also bad because it makes me take what? Undue risk. Everybody following what I am saying? So financing through debt or equity always is a choice company has to make. When they go for debt financing, potential of getting huge return is there. At the same time what? It is taking an undue risk also. There are also risk return trade-off is up. Everybody falling on third is profit. Dividend decision. Company earns profit. When the profit is earned, debt provider has given a constant amount. No decision that. Yes or no? But decision is there for what? Equity shareholders. I earn 100 crores profit. 10 crores is interest. 90 crores is what? My money. Company has got two choices. Say one is what? Give the 90 crores to you as what? Dividend. Or retain it to prepare for what? New investment. Which is good. If I retain for new investment, you're having a risk because the new investment become loss, you will be suffering loss. Right or not? But if I give you a dividend, it's the same income for you. Respond. Point number one. Right or not? But if I retain for new investment, I get more, say, do more business and increase what? Profit much more higher. That's the return angle to it as well as what? The risk angle to it. Everybody following not? So, in all this decision, the underlying thread is risk return trade-off. Everybody following not? I should try to maximize a return. At the same time what? Manage my risk also. That's the objective of the subject. Is to manage risk and what? Maximize return is a core objective of this particular subject, financial management. Everybody, are you following not? With this, you have convert from the country aspect to what a company specific aspect where the subject stands contextually. Everybody following not? Now, keeping this in mind only, all the chapters will be dealing it because anything we study, we should know why we are studying it, in what context it is going to be what linked. Every chapter when I discuss, we will be linking it to what all this introduction parts which have discussed now is the introduction to the subject called strategic financial management. Everybody following on now. Up to this, it looks like an economics class. No. We'll be moving into the subject now, next international finance management. Before that, let us have a summary and then proceed further. First of all, tell me, what is the objective of this subject mainly? To improve the standard of living of the society or the mankind. Whether a society is developed or not is dependent upon one factor called as what? Economic size. It is measured through what? GDP. What is GDP? Value of all the goods and services produced or rendered. Goods and services can be produced and rendered only when you have what? Productive capacity in form of real asset. What creates productive capacity? The human resource, the natural resource like land, building, oil, etc. And also what the technology. All this contributes towards the productive capacity. These assets we call as what asset? And there exists another category called as what asset? Financial assets will be there, will be not there. For every financial will be corresponding financial liability. Ultimately, if you have balance sheet merged of everybody in the country, only thing that exists is what? Real assets only. Yes or no? No. Then why should we have financial assets? For how many users? 2 users. One is it gives you the basis for sharing the income generated by real asset. And number 2 is what? It gives you the scope for transferability of the funds without creating fuss regarding the real assets. Next is, what is the objective of this particular subject? To maximize the value of the financial assets by making prudent decisions. What are the 3 main decisions made by us? Investment decision, financing decision, dividend decision. Investment speak regarding where to put the money. Financing regarding where to get the money. Dividend regarding what to do with the money that has been earned. So every decision will be having inside it 2 angles. One is what? Risk angle, return angle. We should try to maximize return at the same time what? Manage the risk also. That's the objective of this subject. Strategic financial management. Everybody following on now. Let's have a brief notes in this regard before we start with the first chapter today, namely international financial management. Give that thing. Strategic financial management introduction. Strategic financial management introduction. Number 1. Wealth of a country is measured by its GDP. Wealth of a country is measured by its GDP. Point number 2. GDP is nothing but the value of all the goods produced. GDP is nothing but the value of all the goods produced and services rendered. The value of all the goods produced and services rendered during the given year. The value of all the goods produced and services rendered during the given year. Point number 2 or 3? 3. Real assets. In bracket, right? Productive capacity. Real assets, in bracket, right? Productive capacity, bracket close, contributes towards. Real assets, bracket, productive capacity, contributes towards GDP growth. Real assets or productive capacity contributes towards GDP growth. Contributes towards GDP growth. Examples. Natural resources. Example, natural resources, human resource. Natural resources, human resource. Technology, know-how, etc. Technology, know-how, etc. Point number 3 or 4? 4. There exists another category of assets. There exists another category of assets called financial assets. There exists another category of assets called financial assets. Examples: shares, bonds, etc. Shares, bonds, etc. Point number 3 or 4? 4. Point number 5. Okay. The financial assets serves two main purposes. The financial asset serves two main purposes. The financial asset serves two main purposes. Branch it into two. First branch, it gives the basis for sharing income generated. It gives the basis for sharing the income generated. It gives the basis for sharing the income generated by real assets. It gives the basis for sharing income generated by the real assets. Second branch, it helps in transfer of assets. It helps in transfer of assets and mobility of funds in the economy. It helps in transfer of assets and mobility of funds in the economy. It helps in transfer of assets and mobility of funds in the economy. Point number 6. The objective of our subject is to improve. The objective of our subject is to improve the value of financial assets. The objective of our subject is to improve the value of financial assets. By making prudent decisions. Can I proceed? Next. Point number 7. Decisions can be categorized into three types. Branch it into 3. Investment decision, financing decision, dividend decision. Investment decision, financing decision, dividend decision. Investment decision, put that down here and write where to put money. Financing decision, where to get money. Financing decision is where to get money. Dividend decision, right, what to do with the earnings. Dividend decision is what to do with the earnings. Last point. 7, 8 or 9? Point number 8. In all these decisions, we should try to maximize return. In all these decisions, we should try to maximize returns and manage risk. In all these decisions, we should try to maximize return and manage risk. That is, we should strike a risk-return trade-off. That is, we should strike a risk-return trade-off.